Live from the Business Radio X studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and we're virtual. We're still virtual. We're not in our studio inside Renaissance Bank, but hopefully that day is coming soon, and we'll report that. But in the meantime, Renaissance has done an outstanding job with a lot of the work they've done with the PPP loans and other SBA-related work that they have done here over the last few weeks. I know that personally because I've helped clients with it. So reach out if you're tired of the big mega banks. Reach out to Renaissance Bank, renaissancebank.com. The branches are closed. They're not open at the moment, but they're open by appointment. You can't just walk in. You can go through the drive-through, though, so always check that out. And there's a whole lot of things you can do through the drive-through, including actually opening an account. They will do that through the drive-through. So check them out. RenaissanceBank.com for all their locations, or call your friendly Renaissance banker. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now I want to turn to two gentlemen who are making it happen in the payroll industry. We're here with Michael Young and Drew Schildwachter, and they are with ConnectPay. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good to be here, John.
Great.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, great to have both of you here. So, Michael, let's start with you. How about giving us a little brief overview of ConnectPay? You're obviously in the payroll business, but tell us a little bit more about what exactly you do to help small business.
Well, you know, the triple P that you just mentioned kind of put our industry back on the map, didn't it?
It sure did.
Yeah, everybody out there is looking for support there. But, you know, what we recognize, Drew and I and our partners a number of years ago, is the traditional approach to the payroll industry, the folks that have been around for a long time. If you wanted any data efficiency, if you wanted your benefits and your insurance products connected to your payroll solution, you actually had to buy all of those solutions from your payroll company. So it may not have been as economic as you'd like. It might not have actually been the right insurance product, but you know, you wanted things connected, and so you bought it all in one place. And what we've been doing is building modern technology that allows the broker in your neighborhood, the smartest person to support you, or the insurance advisor, the retirement plan advisor in your neighborhood, for you to use them. And our payroll service and our technology will take care of that connectivity for you. So it's sort of the best of both worlds.
I'm curious about some of the product offerings that you're particularly proud of, because you're a payroll company that's not a household name like, you know, the big 3-letter ones we won't even mention, but that everybody knows. But you've got some awfully advanced technology for a company that a lot of people are just getting to know.
So, you know, it's technology and service, John.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we're most proud about, right, is being right in your community there. So Ella Carter and Tom Martin are there, and they're out in the streets, and they're meeting with customers, and they're there to help folks that need what we call our payroll peanut butter and jelly, our PBJ. And one of the services that we really love and our customers love is the connection of payroll and workers' compensation. So the traditional workers' compensation policy, which all your listeners understand, you prepay your workers' compensation at the beginning of the year, and it's based on how much payroll you're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of a premium year, you don't know how much payroll you're going to have, so you guess. So you make a big down payment based on guessing what your payroll will be for the year. And then at the end of the year, the insurance carrier comes back and audits your policy and looks at all your payroll records. And instead of being on the Little League field, you're going through all these documents. The insurance company digests all that payroll data and says, hey, you didn't pay us enough premium. You owe us some additional money. And then they raise your premium into the next year from there. What we've done, John, is we've taken the major insurance carriers, and every time we process a payroll, we actually look at the workers' compensation rates and we calculate the workers' comp premium for just that pay period. So here are the benefits, right? The customers don't have to put a down payment down on the policy. So the average landscaper, the average auto repair shop might keep $5 or $10 or $15 or $25,000 in their pocket, right? They don't have to spend a nickel to renew that policy. They're only going to pay for that workers' comp insurance each pay period as they pay their people. And then at the end of the year, essentially there's no audit, right? Because you've accurately paid those premiums every pay period. So that payroll PBJ for workers' comp and payroll, it's our flagship program. It works directly with every insurance broker in the state of Georgia. Anybody who is appointed with Hartford, with Guard, with AmTrust, the broker stays in place. We make the connection. The client gets all the advantage. Everybody wins.
That's pretty awesome. Now, we've got to address the elephant in the room, of course, which we can't have a show these days without talking about the pandemic crisis, and it's impacted every business and certainly the payroll business as well, right?
It sure has. Our workload is probably up 3 times what it normally is. Folks are calling to understand what calculations are included in the PPP loan, how to get that data for their banker so they can do that SBA application. And then what will happen now, John, on the backside, and our team has been on the phone with folks from the government to start to create a forgiveness report, right? So the nice part about this PPP is part of it, if it's used for payroll correctly, has a forgiveness component to it by the government, and that's related to how you ran your payroll, how much you ran, how many full-time employees you have this year versus last year. So we'll be in the middle of all that data as well.
This is really important because I think the word a lot of business owners hear is forgiveness, and they don't really hear, oh, I've got to actually track all this, right?
Yeah, and Drew has really been the captain of our ship on all things PPP. So, Drew, why don't you jump in and talk a little bit about what we've done there?
Well, I'd probably like to start with just how the virus has impacted us as a business. We were really fortunate to have technology in place to quickly move most of our team to work from home and still remain connected with our hosted phone system and hosted payroll platform. So we're really fortunate that we were able to keep everybody safe and keep the continuity with our clients. So if we roll back the clock, the first piece of legislation was the FFCRA. This was the Family First Coronavirus Response Act. And included in that are emergency paid sick leave and the expanded family and medical leave. These are really additions to FMLA. So we dug in and built the specific earning codes to track those credits, thus keeping the savings with the business owner. The Department of Labor released a poster explaining the employee rights. And just to note, this should be sent to all remote employees and posted with your labor law posters. So one can download those from the DOL to get this FFCRA poster, or if you want to go to ConnectPay USA, at the top of our homepage is a link to COVID-19, and follow that link. We've got the poster as well as many other useful links and tips, and those are state specific. So again, first was the FFCRA. Michael talked about how we created the reports to help people calculate monthly payroll for the PPP program. And that, again, is part of the CARES Act. That one's been the most popular with our small business clients, and it's generated a significant amount of questions. Third, we got guidance from the IRS on the new Form 7200. And this form allows businesses with significant credits to get rapid refunds from the Treasury. So at this point, we are set up to complete these 7200 forms and file them on behalf of our clients. The fourth thing we pivoted to is the retention credit. So this program allows impacted businesses to credit up to 50% of qualifying wages, up to a total of $10,000. And they're available for this if their gross receipts are down by 50% or more. The next part is the deferral of Social Security, and that's part of the CARES Act. At this point, we've got those all built into our payroll application, so we are ready and capable of helping any of our clients utilize these. Now, the sixth part of this is the new 941, and I just got word from our compliance team that they've got the guidance now from the IRS. So for your listeners, the 941 is the quarterly report that our industry uses to basically reconcile a quarter's activity. And that's used to file all types of taxes.
Right.
So this new 941 for Q2 has 20 additional lines. So this is so think third page here. And this is going to be used to track all of these credits that are in the FFCRA and the CARES. And as Michael was explaining, our next pivot, and we're waiting for SBA guidance, will be to write the reports that allow people to take back to their SBA lenders and get the forgiveness, the maximum forgiveness. But there's still a fair amount of questions about how some of the granular components of that are going to be handled, because it's just generated a lot of concern for small businesses. Now that they're getting the PPP money, everybody wants to know, how do I get maximum forgiveness? And so that's probably the next chapter that we will be writing here at ConnectPay to support our clients.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody has focused. Well, I say anybody. You've obviously been up at all hours of the night focused on this. I'm talking about small businesses have really focused on the issue at hand here, right?
Well, I would put them in a continuum of some who are very much using their CPA and their SBA lender to some that are just simply overwhelmed, right? They're really struggling with the impact. It could be personally. Some businesses are shut down entirely. They really, restaurants that we know, it's heartbreaking, right? They some, in many cases, rely on the credit cards and merchant service account from the weekend to fund payroll for the following Friday.
Sure.
And so the resources simply aren't there. So some of them couldn't even take advantage of it. They don't see a pathway to being able to open and hire folks back before the window closes on the forgiveness.
Well, and I guess what I'm getting at is, and I didn't ask the question properly, is that the folks that have received help have not really focused on what's next. And what's next is a pretty heavy reporting requirement. Yes,
it is a heavy reporting requirement. And I don't think all the details. I don't think the SBA has given the member banks everything that they need to prepare everyone. But the details are coming out in drips.
Hey, John, let me jump in because
Please.
There's not only going to be a heavy reporting requirement, but if you follow what's happening, and I also chair government affairs for our industry's largest association, so I spend a fair amount of time with a lot of the regulators. And what happens is laws get passed, and then they do these technical updates to try to close the gaps in what they originally wrote. And so there's going to be an audit requirement here too, right? So they came out just a few days ago and said anybody who has received a PPP loan that's in excess of $2 million, right? They go up to $10 million. So there are a lot of folks in that $2 million range. The average triple P loan is about $265,000. But if you're over $2 million, you're automatically going to be audited. I don't know if they're going to sporadically do anything from there, but probably the piece of guidance that everybody should really spend time on is wherever you spend your dollars, your applications, what you're looking for forgiveness, all the reports that you have. Keep a really good record of those, because somebody might come knocking on your door 18 or 28 or 38 months from now. They have a 5-member congressional committee that is going to be open until 2025 to make sure they pay attention to all this stuff and have a chance to go back and look at it down the road. So, the horse is not out of the barn yet. We've got 5 years worth of people that are going to pay attention to this once they've administered it all.
Yeah, I hate to be cynical. I guess I'll sound cynical when I say this, but a few years down the road, when hopefully we've recovered from all this, the United States government's going to want to figure out how to get paid back for some of this money they've been putting out, right? So they're going to be after whatever they can get, you would think. The tax collector will be at that point if you're not in compliance and you haven't had the records to justify what you've done.
Yeah, this wouldn't be a good time to guess. Look, we've had some customers, we don't give advice
right.
The P process. We're just the scorekeeper. But, we've had people call to say, gee, one of the formulas is, am I running as much payroll this year as I was last year? And if I do, I have an opportunity for forgiveness. And so we have people saying, well, geez, can I put my children on the payroll to drive the payroll higher in order to get there? And, we obviously, have no response to that. But, I would really suggest that people do this, and they do it in a way that they can track what they've done and they can back up what they've done.
Folks, if you just joined us, we're speaking with Michael Young and Drew Schildwachter, and they are the head guys at ConnectPay, and they're in Boston. And thanks for being on the phone with us. I really appreciate you being here. They've got local. ConnectPay has local representatives here in the Atlanta area, Tom Martin and Ella Carter. We'll shout out to those two. Great folks. I want to kind of shift gears just a little bit in terms of what's new this year that you think's important. I mean, beyond the COVID-19 that we've been talking about.
John, what this has exposed is that a lot of small businesses don't have a human resource department. And so they're being asked to understand a lot of things that either they don't have the time to understand or they don't have the experience to understand, not just around human resources, but the process of how do you lay somebody off? How do you bring them back, right? What does that look like? If you go through a layoff and one person happens to be angry about the choice that they were laid off and somebody else isn't. And so traditionally in the payroll space, there have been these human resource generalists that the bigger guys will allow you to call for questions. The challenge is they're generalists. You don't know what their credentials are. You're not sure what their continuing education is. So what we've done for our customers is we've put together a bank of actual employment lawyers. And when our customers have a question, this is part of this whole concept of connected payroll. It's about working with the broker in your community who's the smartest, the retirement advisor who's the smartest. We give our customers, when they have a question about labor law, an actual labor law attorney to speak with. So they can ask an honest question, get a trained response, have the protections of the attorney-client privilege to be able to ask whatever they need to make sure that they get the answer they're looking for. And then we did it in a really unique way, right? So legal services have always been an hourly bill. We converted it into a monthly subscription. And we thought a little bit about it. We thought about it a little bit like a buffet, right? Mm-hmm. You go to the buffet for lunch. You're not sure about what you want to eat. So you put a little bit of everything on your plate and you get smarter about how everything tastes. When you subscribe to our legal services, you never think about it. There's no bill. You call, you always ask the question, you're going to get smarter. And believe it or not, we can do all of this for our customers for $25 a month. We can give them unlimited access to our employment law group, along with a lot of other legal resources. And it's been a smash hit. People just love it.
Yeah, but now you're giving, as I understand it, you're giving folks a little try before you buy period here, which sounds pretty attractive.
Yeah, people have actually been a little bit skeptical. They say, well, geez, how can this be possible? I said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we let you use it for 6 months? If you love it, continue paying for it. And if you don't, just let us know, and we're happy to turn it off. And the subscription rates have really been terrific.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And the issue with this, and I had heard about this from your man on the ground here, Tom Martin, this is one of these issues that when you need this service, you need it like now. I mean, if you've got someone that's come in and ask for to be laid off instead of furloughed, or whatever the issue, right? I mean, there's all sorts of issues right now, but whatever the issue, when you need it right then. And to have this kind of access sounds pretty awesome, really.
Well, that you hit the nail on the head there. And then the only thing I would say, John, that I think people are recognizing about this service is they don't wait too late to ask the question, right? If you have to pay a lawyer by the hour, you wait and you wait and you wait because you don't want to engage and get the bill.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
The way we've got it set up, the minute that your stomach tells you want to ask, you instantly ask, you instantly get smarter. It helps people sleep better at night. That's for sure. Right.
And you don't have to worry about the meter running when you're talking to your folks there. So that's awesome. So, so other issues, Drew, I think you've got some things to add here in terms of what you're looking to provide here for this year.
Yeah, and I just have one more follow-up to what Michael was talking about, the Resource Center. We've seen some folks who, the government forced their business shut, and the tools on there's a handbook wizard to help them create a compliant handbook. There are resources to put together position descriptions. So we've seen clients actually in there while they're closed, sort of tuning up their HR suite in practice to get ready for when they're able to open again. The other thing that we are literally just putting the finishing touches and will have available next week is a web store that allows our clients to get discounted COVID workplace awareness and prevention kits, posters. So we've got basically the CDC hand wash guidelines. So all of those will be available next week as a link right off our website. We're concerned. There's 30 million unemployment claims nationally, and this is a significant hit to the economy. And we're just rolling up our sleeves in every way possible to help small businesses get the resources they need. So these laminated posters will be available on the website. And, each business is going to want to get both the confidence of their staff and of their clients that this business is ready to safely operate. So that's probably the most important thing that we're working on right now.
Something hits me as I listen to you guys talk about what you've done. Because what people need to know about payroll companies is your revenue goes up and down based on payrolls. I mean, because that's how you make your money, is based on payrolls and a number of checks you write to employees and of your clients and that kind of thing. And the fact that you've been able to make all these changes, updates, implement these new guidelines that are out there and the new reporting requirements says something about the strength of your company in all this, because we don't have to get into all the details, but you've taken your own hit. So you've obviously got some financial strength to be able to do what you've done.
Well, Drew and I have known each other for almost 25 years, John, and I've been around this industry for 34, and we've always done a good job of looking out into the future and understanding a bit of what's coming. But more importantly than anything, Drew and I have been through a lot in business, and we understand that It's the tough times when you really let everybody know what you're made out of, right? When the tide is high, it's good for everybody, right?
Right.
It's when things get tough. What can you really accomplish when things get tough? And I will tell you, I am so proud of our team. Everybody has stepped up. They're honored to do the work for American small business. We don't generally go out there and take care of customers that have hundreds of employees. We might have a few of those just because they fit, but we're here to take care of people that have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 people that everybody else doesn't really want to spend the time with. That's what we do. We do it well.
Awesome. Folks, if you just joined us, we're speaking with the two guys that run ConnectPay, Michael Young and Drew Schildwachter, and they are on the phone with us from Boston. But they've got offices all over the country, including here in the Atlanta area. Questions you're getting from your clients. I mean, we talked about PPP, and surely that's at the top of the list. But maybe you can address some of the questions that are you're getting from clients, because those are the ones that are on the minds of our listeners.
Why don't you jump in here?
Yeah, it's absolutely is the PPP has dominated the questions. There are some businesses that have selected not to go that route because they didn't feel like they could utilize it and open in time. We've run into nonprofits that are excluded from it. And we've also talked to business owners that simply couldn't get access. They might not have had a great banking relationship or were slow to get in line. And we all know about how quickly that first round of funds were depleted. But the questions really, many of them intersect with PPP. Can I use PPP and defer my taxes? And the answer is you can defer up until the forgiveness of the PPP. At that point, you would have to stop the deferral program. Or whether if I have people out sick on the family medical leave, can I use that and get that deferred? And the answer is no. So you can use both programs. You can't double dip. And we just got an interesting email from a pretty sizable accounting firm here in Boston stating that the forgiveness portion of the loan will not be able to be an expense for the business, right? So that can impact their tax planning for this year. But the other big thing that maybe it's the elephant in the room is people have gotten the PPP money and their staff is now receiving unemployment plus the $600 additional, and they don't want to come back.
Right.
And they might not want to come back to a restaurant that really isn't going to have clients where they can generate tips, or they simply don't want to come back and work because they're doing to them pretty well right now. So those are the things that I get peppered with every day, and it's difficult.
Well, and back to the HR Resource Center you're offering now, that's where that resource comes in really handy on how to handle some of these issues that have come out of the blue.
Absolutely. And the unemployment is very state specific and nuanced based on the situation. Maybe it might be a reduction in hours or pay. So we're delighted that we have that to guide our clients and let them get the assistance that they need. For sure.
Now, I think we've covered a little bit of this, but I want to be clear on Michael, the ConnectPay value proposition. How would you describe that?
What our job is, John, is to, through the gateway of payroll, to connect our customers to the smartest people in the community and the services that their business needs because they've decided those are the services that their business needs. Again, we're going to connect you with your local broker. Our largest competitors have an insurance agency. So if you want to connect payroll with insurance, you have to leave your local insurance broker and buy your insurance from the payroll company. If you have a claim, who do you call? There's an 800 number. It's just a very different experience. That local insurance broker is going to make sure you've got the right carrier, the right deductibles. If you've got a claim, they're going to be by your side to help you. Same thing on the retirement plan side, right? Somebody coming in and sitting down, a local representative sitting down with your staff to educate them on what retirement planning means versus an 800 number. So our value proposition is, and you know, we're ahead of the curve here a little bit. It's obvious that your phone connects to your car and a lot of different things connect today, you know, music and everything else. Business services have never been connected before. And that's what we're doing. We're connecting the experts in the community using data and the gateway of payroll to do that.
Awesome stuff from Michael Young and Drew Schildwachter from ConnectPay. Okay, Drew, something tells me you guys aren't standing still. You've got other things you're working on. Tell us.
Well, we do. I'm pretty excited about what's coming next. And unfortunately, we had to take our development team and put them on all the things they've been working on.
Right.
But your listeners probably know that QuickBooks is the dominant accounting package for small business. And we've got a nice general ledger interface with the QuickBooks desktop. And that really allows people to run payroll and automate the inputs into their accounting system. We're coming up with a new interface with QBO, QuickBooks Online, which has gained popularity. So we're excited to get back to that, get it released, and work with small business and their bookkeepers and CPAs to automate that part. Because what we found is clients that do a good job in bookkeeping and have a clean chart of accounts and can close their books in a timely manner can use those to really guide the business and run a better, more profitable business. And that's the type of business that can, you know, deal with a setback that COVID has dealt the country. So we're here to grow these businesses because they're just super important to our local communities. I mean, this is what makes this country great.
For sure. Well, this has been awesome. Michael, Drew, it's been a pleasure having you, but we've got to make sure we get people to the right place. If they've heard something that they'd like to be in touch, we'd like to connect with Tom and Ella in the Atlanta area. Tell them how they can do that.
Oh, the contact information for Tom and Ella?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Give me 2 seconds.
Well, how about we just put it on we'll put it on the show page. We can certainly do that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That'll be right there on the show page.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll actually give a couple of phone numbers. So Tom Martin's at 678-471-6012. Ella Carter is at 678-361-8359. Yeah.
I can jump in there and so it's T Martin at ConnectPayUSA.com and E Carter. And because my last name is so long, I got to have Drew at ConnectPayUSA.com.
Yeah, you're still marveling that I pronounced your name right, aren't you, Drew?
You did great.
Thank you. No, this is super. You guys are great, and we appreciate you having you on the show, and of course, more broadly in the Atlanta market. Michael Young and Drew Schildwachter from ConnectPay. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John, and I look forward to being able to fly down and get some shrimp and grits.
I look forward to that. That'll be awesome. So yeah, we know Tom knows the place for that. So we'll do that. Folks, if you need some help, speaking of bookkeeping, if you got some bookkeeping help you need help with, or maybe administrative tasks or some other, support for your business, I've got an answer for you. And it involves calling an angel, and she is an angel because I work with her myself in my business, Essie Escobedo. She is at Office Angels, and she's got a team of angels that will fly in, do the work you need done, support your business, and fly back out when the job is done. OfficeAngels.us is the website. 770-442-9246 is her number. If you've got any issues that involve administrative tasks or bookkeeping, marketing, presentations, she can handle it. She and her team can handle it for you. Just a reminder that this show is on all the major podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, tune in. I can go on and on, but we're also on NorthFultonBusinessRadio.com. You can find a complete archive of our shows, business leaders like Michael and Drew on that in that archive. And we're also on all the major social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter at North Fulton BRX. So for my guests, Michael Young and Drew Schildwachter, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.